Right, huge day. We all know what happened. Treasury starts buying long term. I think they're going to end up doing QE with the Fed because I don't think the Treasury can do this. This is some short term stuff. Even the Fed would be, at best medium term, but all roads lead to gold going up. We already had the low in from that technical breakout there. That wasn't really news related. It was just technical, right? We've been going sideways for a bit too long. And then boom, up we went. I obviously was buying the whole way down, bit too early, never too much, but I bought so often that in the end I had very little ammo. I had enough ammo for one last drop, maybe towards 3,700 that a lot of people were talking about. But honestly, like one big down day here would have been probably be down twice as much as what I had left in cash. So I really needed it to go up and bam, up we went. I felt like we went up quite a lot. It was strong, it was holding, but I was a bit weary of yields, right? I've been talking about yields and even Japan for quite a while now. And that's what it was all about this week, but definitely today. We had yields go up actually on Monday a little bit, and then gold was going up with it, but then bam, it started to get a bit more aggressive. Tuesday, down we go. And I honestly thought, because I'd been doing little trims up here, never too much as usual, but I did say I was ready to do some sales, like market order sales, and I did some on Tuesday, kind of at the middle of the day, one or two towards the end, nothing too heavy, but still, like a trim across the board, thinking, yeah, we're going to go down, yields are going to go up, they're breaking out, and they were. But then what happened today was just a reversal, especially in gold, especially in silver, and especially in miners, especially in gold, I would say though. Gold outperformed silver, I think, and that makes sense, right? This is really monetary central bank. Gold is silver is still kind of industrial and a bit more speculative, but still silver followed gold. It didn't follow the markets. The markets though, look at the markets, it was unchanged. If I look at the markets, what kind of day is that? Close at low of day. That's probably the most important thing. Gold, high of day. I would have just kept going up non-stop. Had to close the day at some point. So gold, ideal candle, open at low of day, close at high of day, totally broke out, by the way. I don't know if this descending here counts. It doesn't matter. It's gone, actually. I should delete it right now. And this still high that we put in here since the pump we've had, 4,450. That's obviously gone. We're above 4,500 right now. So that's ideal. 4,600 is the next level. That seems extremely easy. Probably tomorrow, Thursday, we hit that China overnight. I know we just had a huge move, but I think this is a move that is it's like the signal for a lot of upside. It just happens to have happened not at the absolute bottom. And the bottom was quite nearby actually, even though we've been up quite a lot. So for me, we just go up. I will have some sideways days, we'll have a couple of down days, but basically up. Dollar goes down, yields. I don't know how long they're going to go down for, but I really think gold is strong here. I think people have woken up like, oh yeah, it's been going up for ages. Why did we get rid of gold? Like nothing's changed. The thesis only gets stronger. The Iran war just interrupted it. But actually, the Iran war makes it stronger. Everything, they're screwed, and it's all the governments are in the same problem, the same boat. So everything looks great. Technicals, fundamentals, always just get better. This candle is ideal. 4,600. After that, 4,000, all the way up here, just below 800, etc., etc. I think 5,000 is pretty easy. Like, what's going to come first, 3,750 or 5,000? Obviously, 5,000. And I don't know what Lobo Tigre, I don't know why I pick on this guy, but, he was, it's going to go down 3,000. I'm not buying. Okay, fair enough. Obviously, he sounded quite good when this was all going down. And then recently put up a podcast saying he's not chasing, these are not really cheap. And okay, that's true, but what if it just goes up forever from here? I don't know. And also I was thinking like I was obviously buying a lot down here and my cash was low, but a lot of my buys kind of above all of them. And this is just gold, the GDX. And I know normally I cover silver now and all this, but just looking at GDX, it's just all the way up here. It's at prices where I don't even think I was buying once. When we started to come, I probably bought there. I've forgotten now, but I know I was buying down lows, lows again, and a bit too often here. But obviously, it was so much higher that I don't even know if I bought at this level. Like my first buys. But either way, I'm overall completely up. Like my portfolio compared to where GDX is, I'm one medium day away from new all-time highs. So I'm completely outperforming GDX. And if you just look at gold, like imagine gold goes back up towards, we were closer to 6,000 than 5,000. What if gold goes to mid 5,000s? Where's the GDX going to be? GDX is just going to be completely new all-time highs. Way before, I think about before you hit 5,000, you've got GDX at all-time highs easily. All right, I'm just spending a bit too long on gold actually. Silver, real quick, that was good to see it follow gold rather than, take its orders from the markets because you never really know with silver, but that's clearly a copy paste candle. Very nice. Underperforming still. I don't mind. I don't mind gold. And by the way, it's gold and the seniors leading the show. It's not, I mean, if you look at GDX, look at that up 10%, SILJ, they're up the same. These are opposites almost. You've got gold seniors and silver juniors the same. So gold and the seniors are outperforming, and I think that's fine. That's almost a healthy way to start an uptrend. It ends with the silver and the juniors going absolutely parabolic. And we're not at the beginning of this bull market, but we're probably at the beginning of the most important phase. So silver next step 70, still far away from 70. I like it. I like it because we're kind of chilling where we were the last couple of days. And obviously, we closed above it, so technically the damage is done to the shorts. We're going to go up towards 71. That's the first target. After that, it depends. It could start getting a bit parabolic, but let's assume it doesn't. I don't know, maybe 75-ish, But then, yeah, then you start hitting the mid to late 80s. So let's just get above 71. That's the next and only really important level. Because once you take that out, it really is a question of, yeah, high 70s, but then straight away high 80s. I don't see anything after high 70s, like 78. I think you have a little drop-off point here, there maybe, and then boom, straight up to high 80s. That's when things will get crazy. GDX, God, absolutely love today. GDX closed a high of day, absolutely outperformed everything. I mean, just look at this, right? That's GDX. Where's gold? Gold's down there. GDX is here. GDX is like 4,800, right? That's where we are. So imagine gold at 5,000. GDX is going to be gap filling in the 110s. So 5,600, the all-time high, we're going to be like 130 on GDX or something. What about the juniors? Well, they'll start outperforming. Huge percentage moves. This is just the day that was required. So GDX, very good. Next stop, I actually think we keep going up tomorrow. I think China will play catch up or whatever, but we'll go up another 3, 4%. So for me, GDX, next stop, it's like 4,600 for gold, the immediate near term, GDX probably 100, above 100, 101, 102, something like this. The last line before the absolute peaks, pretty much. Keep it simple. These are big moves. I'm not going to get too cute with the gap fills. They're just obviously the gap, the pre-gap and post-gap, that kind of stuff. Maybe a little stop off here in the 110s for the gap. Who cares? Up, up. GDXJ, not as strong, but still good. Still good. Next stop, okay, 130, maybe a stop off here at 136, right? Simple horizontals. All the descending wedges have been taken out. Such a huge move so quickly too. And then the little gap fill on the all-time highs. This is going to happen quickly. Gold to 4,600. What about gold towards 5,000? You're gonna be in the 140s, way more. Maybe 150s. Maybe 150s GDXJ. I know. My God, it's beautiful. Anyway, it's the same thing. SILJ a little weaker because silver's a little behind. It's into the gap, so it's got a fill gap. Probably all the way up here by the time you're at 70. At least filled the gap. So it's a little behind, but that'll play catch up. And so obviously the miners are outperforming the metals for this next leg up. But I think that's going to continue. I think we're gonna see these types of moves where gold is up 4% and the miners are up double. That's what it should have been like. And it wasn't like that before. We had the metals, especially gold and especially silver, moving up a lot. And the miners were good, but they're kind of matching it. Gold up 4%, GDX up 5 or 3. And now this is what I want, 10, you know? We actually would normally get the juniors up more. I'd expect 13%, but we actually did get quite a few. Well, I'll get to that in 1 second. The actual portfolio with all the miners, because sometimes I forget some of them. I'm gonna go through all of them. Before I do, though, I'm using a different computer, so I've lost some of my trend lines, but I always had this little ascending in there. That's obviously gone, right? That was the loss of 99.5, 99.4. Actually, these little tails here. We tested it recently. This is the little 3 day. This week has just been about interest rates, but you could see it's weak. Like I said, we're going to go down to even sub 98s. That's almost guaranteed now. And a part of this really, you can't really look at the DXY without appreciating the US dollar Japanese yen. So I might show that. But look at that. We are really taking our orders from the dollar, like the inverse. Close at low of day. Why even buy it here? Obviously, it should bounce a little bit, right, to 99 or maybe 99.3. But this is a massive macro monetary long-term strategic change. So I don't know if people are going to just buy. This looks like it's destined to at least go here, and there a weak bounce, maybe go down. Things will happen, right? News will happen. It'll probably bounce there. But for me, same thing as I've said before. We're going to lose this flush and go down to sub 98, basically this level here. Then maybe bounce. You got euro dollar chart also doing something that's quite useful, but it's definitely this chart here. What am I doing? It's USD slash Japanese yen. No, yeah, whatever. So this here, it's two things. It's the all the bond markets, but especially the US bond market today, and the 30, it's all the long-term debt, and it's also Japan, right? And I always mention Japan is like a financial crisis in the background. Honestly, I kept on saying it is US dollar, Japanese yen, Bank of Japan, and always yield. Bond market's the most important thing. When it matters, it just moves everything, and that's exactly what we've got today, helping gold out. So look at this. We flushed, we bounced, retest, retest, bam, flush. This looks like it wants to go back down, right? 155. It looks like the intervention worked for now, right? They've done the little tricks. Obviously, it's just short-term stuff, but I expect to go here and actually flush maybe. And then I'll go back up because nothing is solved. The fundamentals remain the same. They actually just get worse. But if you look at that chart, going back down to 155 and probably flushing that, what do you think DXY is going to do? Well, that's going to go there and maybe lower. Maybe we bounce, but basically lower, which means gold and silver should go higher. So I'm looking at these levels here on gold. Keep it simple, just gold and GDX. The rest will follow silver, the juniors. They'll maybe underperform, later outperform. But for me, the roads lead up 4,600, maybe higher if DXY is going to flush a bit more because everyone wants to get back into this. The bond market probably people who just sold bonds probably want to get into gold, probably did already a bit. So we're going to make new highs. I'm really convinced of that. I mean, I think we already put the bottom in technically. And then today, what happened? This is just worth even more than this. So, right. And yields went down. I won't waste. I just want to go straight to the portfolio, but just looking at the 30 year, obviously it had the effect, right? So that went down. Shorter yields, not that much, but this, I don't know, go down a bit more. But if it goes back up, that'll put pressure on gold, maybe. But I don't know how, I'm just gonna watch it. I don't care too much. It's really about the dollar. I can see it's going up, and whether yields go up or down, I can see the metals sort of grinding higher. But if yields go down, it's clear that we prefer that. But we definitely outperform the markets. Like that's also important. It's not just the dollar, it's the markets. Look at that close at low of day. The Nasdaq was red, right? Nasdaq was red. So to have huge days with the markets down, let's not let's not ignore that. That's I don't want to say that's the most important thing, but that's very important. So just after acknowledging what happened to yields and the dollar, it's really the markets before we can appreciate the miners. Let's look at the miners. Newmont. So I was nibbling out the last 2 days, little nibbles, dropped one a bit anxiously, little nibble, yes, and then bam, today completely cleared the gap. This is outperforming GDX. Look how close we are to all-time highs. I mean, it's so close. So we didn't close a high of day. That's interesting. But still 8% Newmont outperforming, fundamentally wonderful, etc., etc. Next stop up here, 132. So maybe a little sell. I sold all my limits already today. All the limits I had, I placed some limits and I dropped some in yesterday and I added some more. I trimmed today. Obviously, I trimmed today. Just in the middle of the day, I just trimmed. I was like, what is going on? Just sell. Don't care. Didn't even look at the charts, just sold. Took some off the table because it's just huge profits, and my cash is extremely low still because I haven't sold enough on the way up. A bit in the last 2 days, but then today, my first decent sell, let's say. But the value of these miners is still way higher than they should be just because of how much they've gone up. This is not even in my best case scenario. Like this is 3 weeks, we're all the way up here. It's incredible. But next up, yeah, 13132. I don't expect, going back down, filling gaps. I think what happened today was massively strategic, long-term monetary in nature. So I don't think you have like tactical drops, gap fills and all this. I mean, are we really going to fill this gap here in Newmont, sub 100? No, it's not going to happen. So very nice, but not close at high of day. Barrick, good. That was all over the place. Look at all these gaps. The gaps that will never get filled. All right, let's just keep it short term. So there you go. Completely cleared the previous high that we made since the bounce. Closed kind of near high of day. Next stop all the way up here, just below 48, I would say. Just to be safe, I'd make it actually this high here, you know. Then after that, big move up there. Don't even know if the gaps matter much when it gets this dramatic. Trimmed them all, trimmed every single stock today, every single stock except for juniors, which I never even cover. So for you, every single stock. Agnico, look at this, look at this. And to think that I was actually waiting for maybe adding a little bit more if it went a little lower. This one I was adding to a lot though on the way down. I was adding the 150s and 140s, 136 or something. And now here we are, like above 200, 210, 135 to 210, just in a couple of trading days. Close a high of day, further after hours. Next stop, I'm in no hurry. Akunico is for me the best of the best, or one of the top five. I'm in no hurry, but I did trim it today. Next stop's going to be 220, 219. I probably put a trim there because what a move, right? And in case the bond vigilantes continue and yields start to go up again anyway, despite the treasury operation, I think eventually they're going to start doing QE anyway, and that's probably why the move is so dramatic today, even though it's not really that significant what they did. 4 billion instead of two or whatever. But I think it's the signal for QE. And honestly, you look at the news, they are absolutely screwed. And this is the path they're chosen. They're not cutting the deficits, they're not cutting spending. They really are just inflating, and they will not own up and do the right thing. It's clear, right? Doge was pretty much disbanded. Trump likes to be too much of a populist to cut any welfare. He just expands it, expands welfare and warfare. And he definitely doesn't want to go down as the guy to crash the markets and all this. So it's obvious they're gonna, and he's quite dramatic. Like I could imagine him even revaluing gold. I was thinking about it. These podcasts you listen to where I always think it's way too dramatic, but I think he would be the guy to make a move like that. I mean, I don't even know how that works, but in the end, gold would benefit. So, but yeah, Agnico, very nice, up. How many times do you see that? 11%, close a high of day. Today would be the type of day where that happens. So 220 is the next step. After that, like a lot of them, they have this little gap all the way over here, but probably all-time highs. Probably 240, mini gap fill 245, and then 255, basically. I'm not going to draw the lines. It's just quite obvious. Wheaton, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I mean, what do you say? Next stop, this one's actually even clearer. Next stop's going to be 155, just below, just below. Take that one in case you miss it by a cent. And then again, gap fill could play a role there, and then all-time highs. Insane. Probably before gold's at 5,000. Royal Gold, my new one. It's worth quite a bit now. In fact, I was thinking about it. If I let it rise, it might end up being worth what I always wanted it to be worth. Close a high of day. Next stop doesn't mean we get there in one go, but I'm not in a hurry because I've got my 6 month rule for these new stocks, but I can see it getting to there and then eventually all-time high. No point in having these mini levels anymore. This is serious. This is big boy stuff now. Franco, nice. I remember looking at it really detailed the last couple of days. It's a bit weak. Bam. You know what I mean? 7.77. Close a high of day. Next stop. No, something like that. Who cares? 270. This is just a hold. It's worth a little bit less than the others too. So it's like one of my weakest. Well, Wheaton is just worth more, put it that way. Right. Let's go to the mid tiers. I am gold. Mid tiers did okay, but you can see the seniors kind of mid tiers should be outperforming seniors. Now you've got these sort of 7, 11. I mean, they kind of did the same, and you'd expect mid tiers to do 2 or 3% better across the board. So, but we know the seniors did very well. Didn't close in high of day, but it cleared this resistance. Next stop, yeah, got to just below 21. Then there's probably this little pre 52 week high level, like 23, and then the old high of the last 52 weeks. So that looks okay, 8.5%. Can't complain too much. Equinox trimmed, by the way, trimmed everything I've shown you so far. Equinox high of day close just had a new breakout there. So that's nice. Close a high of day, 10.5%, just what it needed. One of the stocks that got destroyed the most. This has more levels to breach than the others. I'd go for that. This and then okay, this, whatever, and then the old high. By then things are probably going crazy. That's what I'd look at for what did I just do there? That's what I'd look at for Equinox. I didn't want to trim this because I bought kind of recently and it's only down here, and I know Equinox can get to 20, but it was risk management. I wasn't even looking at the chart. I looked at GDX, I looked at gold. It was an all-time, I mean, it was like a record highs of the day, even though we kind of came back at the close and had a really good close, and after hours hit new highs. You can see we closed the high of day pretty much across the board. There was still a period quite early on where we hit the highs. That's kind of when I was trimming actually. So I'm not too annoyed at that. But yeah, this should easily keep going. So it was a small trim actually, this one. I had like 2 rounds of trimming today across the board. And in the end, it was quite a lot of cash on the sidelines, more than I've raised in a while. But I still want to just basically double the cash on the sidelines. So if we go up again tomorrow, that's where I think I'm going to trim again, just to raise the cash. It's not because I don't think it's not because I think that we're going to reverse and go down. We could have a little sideways day here and there, but I think this is a huge decision that sends gold to new all-time highs eventually, soon, this year. B2 gold. I didn't really follow that. Don't understand why it gave up back so much. We had a huge good news day, but look at the flush out compared to yesterday. Across the board, all the miners kind of had this, but close at low of day and most of them close at high of day. All right, next, well, we've got a bit of problem at 550, and actually today, if that's a real, yeah, okay, we closed at low of day, but still we kept the gap and it's forgiven. Maybe we can keep running tomorrow. We really need gold to keep going. 4,600. Maybe we can start getting to 550. But just because of that candle between today's high of day and 560, I think this level is a sell. Like, I don't know, tiny trim at 539, maybe, I don't know, 555. I feel like this is a bit of a level here. Because after that, it's all-time highs. I mean, you have a mini gap fill, which probably won't even count. But, we're pretty close to, when I say all-time highs, I mean the last 52 weeks. So it's more advanced than a lot of them. Maybe that's why I had a bit of resistance. We're just so close to the highs. Aris, wonderful breakout. It was underperforming a tiny bit, I felt. Next stop, yeah, 21 to 21.5, I would say. So that's a good candle. Close kind of near high of day. And then you got the 52-week high after that. So yeah, something like this for Aris. 1, 2, and then obviously bound the old high. Harmony, I really like Harmony. This is a hard chart to read a lot of the times, all these gaps and talk about price discovery and in motion here. So many gaps. Um, And then a lot of them had this, like I said, there was this range, this little box range that we were trading in yesterday, Tuesday, when we closed at low of day. I thought, we're going to come back down a lot. I should have sold more, which is why I was selling during that day. But today to have this absolute head fake reversal on news, ideal, really. So here we've got a small gap fill. Maybe I'll add that. But Harmony just looks like it wants to go to 23. And I thought that would take a long time. Well, obviously we've had a huge move very fast, but it was outperforming here. And it makes sense. Like here we were holding quite well compared to others. Today obviously is very special, but now I think getting to 20, 22, 23, 23 is resistance, but very doable very quickly. And then I don't know, we have any continuation in the gold price. We'll have a few sideways days, maybe one or two gap fills. We can forget about these prices down here like everything else. Up we go to 26. And then there you go. We've gone from 13 to 26 again, right? We did it here, 13, 26, 13, 26. So I'm very happy with Harmony. It's like the, the chart is sort of repaired somewhat. All right, I'm going to try and remember the other stock that I have that I keep forgetting. Eldorado. Where the hell's that? It's just EGO, no? Yeah. Look at that. Beautiful. Right. It was down here, but it was outperforming even on the way down. On the way up, I think it was not necessarily outperforming, but it was strong. And since it hadn't gone down to new lows like many others, it was quite good in here. I mean, we don't have many levels to go. You've got probably, let's say, a pre-gap here. I don't know how much they would pretty much touch that already. Post-gap, whatever. Once you're up here, high 40s. That's it. I mean, 50 is the level anyway. You have a little 47, 48 little area here, the last line before the old high. So Eldorado looks good for a mid tier too. Most of the seniors are more advanced, like Newmont's, Wheaton's, they're pretty high up here, relatively speaking. But a lot of the other ones, Equinox, not really. B2Gold, at least the ones I own. Iron Gold, it's okay. So, yeah, EGO looks quite good. Another one. HYMC that I own that I keep forgetting to cover. All right, this one's nowhere near, but this one is leveraged. If we start going up in the metals, it runs 15% today. Extremely nice high of day close. Still didn't clear the high since the Iran war bounce. Look at this completely obvious level. So once we close 30, then off you go. Then you have a couple of levels. Okay, it's not as strong as a lot of the other charts, but it has huge percentage moves to make. Huge. And it will make them if the metals run. So that's what I like. I need to add these levels. So just imagine, from 28 all the way to 40. That's not even I mean, that's very realistic. It'll do it. Huge move, right? That's 50%. That's 50%. Jesus, you know, that could be done in 2 weeks. So that's still got a lot of juice in it, and it looks really nice to chart. The bottom is in, coming up. I'm going to take out this level and run. We don't just run to 35. You don't take out this to run 35. You hit 35, you may go sideways 1 or 2 days, but it wants to go higher and then higher. Imagine getting to 60. Jesus. Um, right. SBSW. Don't, I kept on saying this one is one of my favorites for percentage returns until the end of the year ever since taking this out. And it doesn't look like too much percentage move, but it is. And today, it's exactly what I expected, 10%. Next level, yeah, that makes sense. Just above 12, that little gap zone, basically the levels you see. Um, and it's just so much percentage move. Basically, even from where we are now after a huge move, still got basically 100% to go. So that's my main platinum palladium player. Right, the silver stocks, the best returns were there. Did I forget something? Nah, whatever. Now, Pan America has a horrible chart because of the news, but I do like the way it reacted today. It did still go up 8%, even though it should have had a very weak chart. These lines are all over the place. I don't agree with them right now, but okay, that's your last high. That obviously counts, and that's it. Get everything else. Keep it simple. Maybe this comes into the picture. This will be a level later for sure. And keep it simple. And there's a little gap here. But yeah, for now, 53, the old high, 53, whatever it is, 53.50. That'll be resistance a little bit, but if metals are going to squeeze, if silver's going to go to 70, 70, 80, high 80s, then forget it. Pan America will be, testing 60s. So at least we had a good day today. The chart was a bit damaged. They were all damaged with Tuesday's candle, but this one, closed below the level and it was on bad news recently. So I thought it was going to receive a lot of resistance today, but we just made new highs constantly, actually. So eventually it started to provide quite a nice return there. But next level, 53.50, then after that, 50, 56.50 or something. It's the weakest of the silver charts because of the news, because of the recent price action. Otherwise, the rest, very nice flying colors. Look at this first majestic, close a high of day. Obviously, we've taken out 18. That was a big number for a lot of them, just by coincidence. Next levels, this little 24.40, obviously, right? For me, that's quite obvious. It could go straight through, of course, especially if we open trading with gold going up again overnight tonight, which could really happen. Then it's gap fill, obvious, and then it's the high of the last couple of months, which is all the way here, obviously. And after that, it's probably coinciding with silver running to, I don't want to say 100 because I think we'll get there before, but maybe high 80s, which is really where you've got the last resistance before triple digits. So, and after that, you're just running like 32. Wonderful to see First Majestic really react. And again, silver wasn't even that strong, all things considered. Silver and the silver miners weren't that strong, but they still were the best performers. Realistically, it was best case scenario, I think. Start with the seniors and the gold, then slowly, as it becomes more obvious that it's real, that it's long term, that we're going to go back to highs, silver says, okay, okay, I got this. And then the juniors say, okay, okay, my turn, and basically full bullish mode where silver beats gold, silver miners beat the gold miners, silver juniors beat, the juniors beat the seniors, etc., etc. Very happy. CDE was up 15%, by the way, at one point today, which I like to see because it was the best performer. But then HYMC, but it doesn't really count. CD hitting resistance, right? This little 2150, the old high, very obvious. I had good till cancel limit orders. Not only did I drop some market orders, some mid-price market orders on Interactive Brokers, I also had limit sales hitting on a few of them, and I remember CD was one of them because of the level. So look at this. This is before silver hit 70. So imagine we start hitting 70 and going beyond. CD is going to do what I hoped it would do, which is take back its old attitude of running like a total maniac and outperforming everything. So today was the beginning of such a day. After that, I don't know how many lines I should put because it's about how crazy things get with silver and the miners. But these are all the levels I can just see quickly now. And I think we've only got horizontals after this anyway. There's no descendings or anything special. Looks really good. Really good. EXK, similar stuff. If they close, way better close than that candle, even though we're there. So that's kind of gone. Obviously, 1150 is the next level, 1160, this little last high. And after that, maybe you stop off in the middle, but 14, right? It's the only obvious thing to me. Obviously, we're going to stop off somewhere. It might be here, 1250-ish, but 14 and then 15. That's EXK. EXK is very capable of doing huge moves like it did today, like it did recently. So probably my least favorite silver stock, but just really, really strong chart and good performer recently. Heckler, beautiful. Again, they all did what they were supposed to do, and they all beat SilJ, right? Wasn't SilJ like 9%? This is why I'm in these 10, 9.5%. And then look at my silver miners. And I got my senior that almost did the same as SilJ, and then just 13, 13, 14, 14 and a half. Beat it. Love it. Right. Heckler, close a high of day. Forget this, completely gone. This level is now support if we even need it, if we ever even test it again. Next up is this 2120-ish. Yeah. After that, 2280, and after that there. Yeah, this chart is not as developed as the EXK, where we've just got one level left before the old highs, even though they're far away. CD also, you can see it. Heckler was sold off more and it took longer, but still, it's reacting the way it should on a day like today. You take out this level, it just takes one or two strong days and you're basically all the way here, and then you've got nothing to the old highs. So they're reacting to silver, and silver's got a long way to go. I should try and remember to, no, let's just look at silver now. Look at the miners, right? And then look at silver down there. I mean, imagine when we get to here, that's not even 80s. You've probably got EXK and all that running for old highs, CDE, you know? By the time we're testing the high 90s, forget about it. They've all printed new highs. So this is wonderful. I need to keep looking at silver and just seeing how little we've done in terms of the move up, because it's decided to follow gold. I know if things get really crazy and yields go back up, the market crashes, silver will want to maybe follow the markets down, but gold is hopefully still going up. So silver's got that component to it, but if it decides to follow gold up and just really go up, and the silver miners go up, huge returns still. This like days like this will be almost daily, happening daily. Right, before I forget, ASM Avino, nice little day, 11%, close a high of day, took out the old high, which also happened to be a bit of a resistance from back there. Beautiful. That means next stop is the next one, which is 820. That is the high of the bounce since the low. So that's important. Right, I've already mentioned that. So once we take out that level, 820, then we can run to the other ones. And we've got quite a few, but I don't care because I'm in since the drop. I wasn't in up there, so the more levels, the better. Well, not the better, but there's an even bigger percentage move until we even test the old highs. So lots of percentages to make out of that. Aya, yeah, doesn't surprise too much. 8.5, what you expect. Should test 40 tomorrow if we have another update. Maybe not 40, but yeah, maybe 39s. Yeah, why not? Then I don't know, 50. In the end, it was absolutely wonderful. The chart has just the type of candle we have today, just technically, and what it was based on, what it means, and how all the stars are aligned for the metals long term. It's just for me, I'm absolutely positive the low is in. Bit late to say that, but I'm in since the low anyway. I was really at the very bottom of the barrel of the cash. So I was very happy that that's the low. Here, I was really worried that when we go back down, I should take more, sell more. But with this candle, I'm pretty reassured that we're just going to keep going up. I think 4,600 is happening very fast. I think 4,800 is happening soon. There's no point in giving dates, but like this month, yeah, you could do that. But we're going up, and we're not going to go below unless yields start, the bond market starts to take over, and anything can happen. But this candle is ideal, and the way the miners reacted is wonderful. I do also like the fact that the gold and gold senior miners led the way. I want that to happen for a few days, and then silver to take over and the more juniors to take over. That would be ideal. I like how the dollar's going down. I like how the markets didn't do anything. We didn't care. Um, Imagine if the war ends, which is probably not going to happen soon, but a lot of the escalations are priced in. I don't think that would damage us, even though we're supposed to benefit from war in the metals. But okay, if we're supposed to benefit from peace, imagine a peace treaty comes, which go up even higher. It just looks great, which is also why I trimmed because things are just too good today. I had to take it was just risk management. You got to add some cash to the sidelines. Basically, I sold like probably a quarter between a quarter and a third of what I made just in the miners. So even like tomorrow, I end up with the value of my miners still worth more than I did yesterday, even though I sold a lot. So I don't really care about that. All right. Anyway, yeah, beautiful. Let's see what happens. But enjoy today. It was long overdue, and we deserve it, I think.